What's up, y'all? Here we are. We got our materials and it's time to get started on planting your garden. You should have a plant that looks like this in a little pot. You should have a bucket like this, and you'll have a pot. Now maybe your pot will be empty, maybe your pot will have soil in it. If it's empty, you're gonna need to take the soil from the bucket, put it in the pot. So we're gonna do that real quick and fill this up. We're gonna try not to spill as much as we can. Now I'm gonna fill this almost to the top. And I'm gonna level it off. Any clumps I see in there, breaking those out and getting it ready. Okay, now when I touch this soil, it's pretty dry. So that's telling me I'm gonna really need to make sure that I get my watering can, and when I get this little one planted, that I give it a nice good soak and a good drink. Okay, so you may have a plant that looks like this. This is a cucumber, or you may have like this. This is the same plant, it's just in a 6-pack. We call this a 6-pack because there's 6 little pots. Okay, now these cucumbers are ready to get transplanted, and I can tell because I see the roots poking through the bottom. Now even though this one, oh yep, there's a little bit of roots right there. Okay, so today I'm just gonna show you how to do this one. When you take these out, it's pretty much the same, okay? Something to notice in here is there are 2 stems, which means there are 2 plants growing in that one spot. For cucumbers, that's okay. You can just plant it like that, but for other plants like tomatoes, you're gonna need to separate them, but we'll show you that if you ever need to do that. Now, this is your pot. This is our cucumber, and this is a weed, so we're gonna pull that out before we transplant. And then I'm gonna come over here, I'm gonna dig a little hole, make sure there's a spot for my plant to go once I take it out. Now, I want it to be deep enough that it just covers the top, and we'll show you that. All right, so here, got my pot, and I'm gonna take it out. Now, try to do this one-handed. I'm gonna get my fingers and grab them between the stem. I'm gonna flip the pot over, and what you're gonna want to do is squeeze the bottom, and I'll show you how to do that. But for now, squeeze the bottom, and there you go, took it out, okay? Then I'm just gonna put that right in. I wanna keep my soil together as much as possible. Now that soil was also really dry, so it totally fell apart. So what I suggest you do is you give your plants good watering before you transplant them. That way they'll be happy and not thirsty, and they won't be stressing out if the soil falls apart. But now what I'm gonna do is just bury it. And I wanna try to keep that in the middle. Bury it. And you'll notice I'm pushing down a little bit because I wanna make sure the roots are totally under the soil. If the roots get in the sun, then they will dry out and die. Okay, got my cucumber in. I want to show you a little thing right here. See this little yellow thing? That is a flower. Now this plant is too little to make a fruit, so what I'm gonna do is just pick that off, and that'll help this plant focus more on growing than making flowers. So you'll see here, this is a fresh one. So you just come and you just give it a little pinch. Comes right off. Those are edible, by the way, if you want to eat them. And there it is. Okay, I can put that in there because that'll be a good fertilizer for my plant. Now it's in. I'm gonna grab my watering can. I'm gonna give it a good soak. And I'm just gonna go around and around. But you'll notice it starts to puddle. And you don't want that to happen because the more water you let puddle, the heavier your soil gets and the more it compacts, and then the air's not in there. So I'm gonna let that soak in before I add more. And I'll know that there's been enough water when I see it start coming out of the bottom. So I don't see it coming out the bottom, but it's pretty much all soaked in on top. I'm gonna add some more, around and around. And the more you water in your pot, the longer this plant grows like this, you're gonna notice it start to dry out along the edges. You just wanna make sure that soil gets pushed back in. Because otherwise, once it gets really dry, then the roots will never be able to go in there. The soil's taking a long time to soak. That means it was really dry, but I start to see it's coming out. We're waiting to see it come out of here. That's basically it, y'all. So that's how you plant your plant. Every day, make sure it's wet, stays wet. Don't do it too much where the puddles are too hard and the water takes too long to soak in, but do it enough that it stays wet. Cucumbers love water. If you've ever eaten a cucumber, you'll see how juicy they are. And the other thing that we're gonna learn about this plant is that it likes to climb. So you're gonna have to build something to climb up as it grows, but stay tuned. All right, y'all, good luck.